So we can call this meeting to order on October 9th, 2020 of the MPO Policy Committee. Item 2 is approval of the agenda. So I would
move to approve agenda.
Second.
I have a motion and I have a second. Do you want to call the roll call vote, Ryan or Pat?
I don't have a list in front of me.
How about a voice vote?
I don't think you're allowed to do a
Can't
voice
do it.
vote on
Really?
these meetings. I think that was part of the Governor's Act.
Okay.
That's correct. We cannot.
Okay, then I'd be happy to call the roll then. Just a second while I make sure I have everybody.
Scott Robinson is on for the mayor, by the way.
Hey, congratulations, Scott.
Thanks, Kent. Appreciate it.
Hi, Jillian.
Hi, everyone.
All right, I'm ready. Please let me know if I don't, or if you don't hear your name. That would be purely by accident. All right, McDaniels.
Yes.
Rid.
Aye.
Yes.
Ryderband.
Yes.
Wiltz.
Yes.
Wallman.
Yes.
Nickel.
Yes.
Githens.
Yes.
Warren.
Yes.
Flaherty.
Yes.
Bannock.
Yes.
Robinson.
Yes.
Is there anyone I left out?
Jillian Kinsey's here. I don't know if that.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
All
Yeah.
right, Kinsey.
Yes.
Okay, that is 12-0.
All right.
Madam Chairman, I think that we've already identified that that Scott is here for the mayor. Can any other proxies please identify themselves?
Yep. that was
For the
my
record?
thing. Thank you, Sarah.
Hi, this is Nate Nickel, sitting in for Adam Wason, City of Bloomington Public Works Department.
Is that the only proxy, the only two proxies?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay. Moving on to the next item is approval of the minutes for September 11th, 2020.
Move approval.
I do have a question here, and I can't, for some reason, I can't. I'm having technical problems here. Can you hear me?
Mhm.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll second the motion just so it's valid for.
I can't
discussion.
access the meeting and the agendas or anything right now, but I can hear you. But I think that in the minutes, it said that Lou was a proxy, Lou May was a proxy for Bloomington Transit. And that's not the case. Lou's a member of the Technical Advisory Committee. I'm the representative for Bloomington Transit. And I may have gotten that wrong, but I can't access it right now, so I can't tell you. But anyway, if that's the case, then that should be adjusted.
I recall you
I believe
said
that's
that
it.
at the last meeting as well.
Was that the last one? Okay.
That's what I remember.
Yeah, that could very well be. I think you're right, but I can't right now. I'm having trouble here. I can't see anything or trying to get back to you. I'm glad you can still hear me, but thank you, Sarah. Never mind.
All right. Thank you. So we have a motion.
See my screen?
Pardon?
Can everyone else see my screen?
Yes,
Yeah.
I can see.
See anything?
The screen is up, yeah.
Yes.
Yes. And so we have a motion and a second to approve the minutes as submitted. Do you want to call a roll call vote, Ryan?
Sure. Ridge.
Yes.
Ryderband.
Yes.
Vanderbeam? I'll move on. Wiltz,
Yes.
Wallman,
Yes.
Nickel,
Yes.
Githens,
Yes.
Warren,
Yes.
Flaherty,
Yes.
Bannock,
Yes.
Robinson,
I'll abstain since I wasn't at the last meeting. Thanks.
Kinsey,
Yes.
and I'll go back to Ryder Band.
Yes.
Oh, thank you.
Ryan, did you call me? I'm Kent.
Oh,
I didn't.
sorry. Sorry, Kent.
Okay, well, I'll say yes. I'm going to log out and try and get back in again because I can't see anything right now. So I'll be back in a few seconds. I
Okay,
hope.
thank you. All right, we have 1101.
All right. Thank you, Ryan. Communication from the chair. I really don't have anything to add today. Reports from officers, Citizens Advisory Committee.
Yes. Citizens Advisory Committee met virtually, and we recommended approval of the final draft of the MTP. That's it.
All right. Thank you, Sarah. Technical Advisory Committee.
Yeah, Lou May here. I'm chair of the TAC, and much like Sarah reported for the CAC, the TAC met also and reviewed the final draft of the 2045 Metropolitan Transportation Plan, and the TAC voted to recommend approval to the MPO Policy Committee. That's it for me.
All right. Thank you, Lou. Seeing we have no old business, we'll move on to new business. Item A is the Bloomington Monroe County MPO Final Draft 2045 Metropolitan Transportation Plan. Pat?
Okay, since our last meeting, I took into account of your verbal comments, which came in during the meeting, and then our advertisement went out on September 5th. September 5th and September 6th is when we posted our legal advertisement. 30-day comment period ended on Monday of this week. And we also received one public comment. One public comment was from Nate Nickel, representing the Department of Public Works for the city of Bloomington. And then we received an extensive set of comments from Cecilia Crenshaw with Federal Transit Administration Region 5 office in Chicago. Also Matt Lang, Matthew Lang with Federal Transit Administration Chicago Region 5. And then Erica Tate from the Federal Highway Administration Indiana Division. And I want to thank everyone who's been with us since January of this year up until this time. It's been a long haul. We also submitted the document in draft form to the Indiana Department of Transportation Central Office, and we have not received any comments back from them yet. They may be waiting for a final document before making any comments. The summary of comments received, I believe, begins on page 156, the very back. Erica Tate was very adamant, and we had already set this in motion. She was very adamant about documenting all the comments on the draft, which went out to the public on September 5th. And so we went through an extensive rewrite, and I apologize for not sending these to you earlier in the week. I thought I would be sending these to you on Monday or Tuesday, and on that, because the comments were very technical in nature, required extensive research, and also required a number of conversation with some of our federal partners. So all of those have been addressed there. The other change that we've made to the document since we last met was to the executive summary. There were notations at the last meeting about the executive summary having somewhat of a disconnect to the rest of the document. So the executive summary was more or less rewritten from scratch, showing the background information on the why we do a metropolitan transportation plan and regulations that are that govern exactly what we do. And then we went into the MTP public outreach process, the technical assistance, and then I did thumbnail, or I tried to do thumbnail summaries of Chapter 2, the guiding principles, Chapter 3, future transportation needs, which wasn't so thumbnail. Chapter 4, the financial forecasts, which again wasn't thumbnail. Chapter 5, the travel demand model scenarios. Then Appendix A, the transportation planning requirements. This is a very technical chapter. Appendix B, performance measures, which again is a technical chapter required by federal regulations and by the current legislation, the FAST Act legislation. In Appendix C, we went into an extensive, the executive summary is short, but the chapter is extensive in terms of the public development and, plan development and public involvement methodology, which was all-consuming. Then Appendix D, the travel demand model itself, which is still valid for this plan in that 7 of the transportation improvement programs projects, there were 7 transportation improvement projects in the model for the 2040 plan, and 6 of those projects are still ongoing. So therefore it remains valid. We also went into Appendix E, the environmental justice. That didn't change that much other than a brief update about the census and the fact the census was being cut short. But then there was a judicial ruling, I think it was an appellate court ruling just a few days ago, about the census can continue until the end of the month, end of this month, that is. But I know there's a national administration challenge to that. Appendix E, the environmental justice, we went into, that involved all of the census. Appendix F, air quality and climate change assessments. Air quality is actually improved. I haven't been able to document that fully with the Department of Environmental Management yet, but our air quality here in Bloomington is extremely good. I say extremely, and I'm not exaggerating there. Climate change, saw an error, I say climate chance assessments. Climate change assessments, we went into an extensive analysis about the fact that climate change is here. And we need to begin some sort of a resiliency planning immediately. And then we went into Appendix G, which are the projects, and this identifies a list of projects that are currently programmed in the Transportation Improvement Program. And this was a requirement by the Indiana Department of Transportation that we identify all of the state projects currently programmed, which we did. And then we identified all of the transit projects. And then we went into what I would call a list of illustrative projects. The illustrative projects are concept projects in that they have nothing more than a point-to-point potential need, but those have not been subject to any type of environmental engineering or even public involvement process up to this point in time. In other words, they're just a project identified on this piece of paper or electronically. And they have a gross cost in here because we don't have any definitive engineering estimates of any type or another. So we just put in large costs, and those include county projects, Monroe County projects, and also City of Bloomington projects. Then Appendix H of the document includes the glossary, which is quite extensive from the previous document. And then the final part of the document itself is the documentation of the public involvement. And I won't go into any further detail other than the fact that pointing out that Chapter 2, your guiding principles, are by far the most important element for yourselves in terms of where you, as the MPO Policy Committee, wishes to see us go, us being the staff, the entire MPO, the direction you want to see us pursue, the visions, the goals, the individual items that you want to see us pursue over the course of the next 4 years when we update the Metropolitan Transportation Plan again. And then at this, I'll stop and wait for any questions that anybody may have.
Open up to the board if they have any questions. Comments? I know we discussed this last month pretty extensively, so I didn't know if anybody had anything new that they wanted to add before I open it up for any public comment. Scott?
I'd just like to make a comment.
Oh, sorry, Sarah. You can go ahead and then I'll go after you.
Oh, really? It's okay. So I just wanted to commend the staff. I particularly found it fascinating to read the stuff from Federal Highways, all the comments, which were a lot of Scribner things, but just the amount of technical detail that was being brought to your attention and asked and queried, and what it took to create this document, even with a baseline 2040 to go by, it was substantial. The prose is lovely. I think it really embodies a great deal of what this MPO, the vision that we have for this community at large. And I found it incredibly well written. I also deeply appreciate that although my comments didn't go into public comments because I didn't put them through the appropriate system, I appreciate their being taken into consideration and implemented as part of this document. I had nothing but joy in reading this. So thank you to the staff.
Thank you. Scott?
Thanks, Lisa. And I was just, Sarah stole my thunder, but again, since I haven't been plugged into the MPO for some time, I do know, I just wanted to just give a shout out to staff for all the hard work they did, particularly with the pandemic. Trying to do a public process has been challenging. I know they had a really high response with survey results and everything. So again, I just wanted to extend my gratitude for staff on working hard on this and taking the time to look at the document and where they are. I just wanted to say thank you.
Thank you, Scott. Any other members of the board want to speak? Sorry, my dog.
Look, Lisa, my dog heard your dog.
I'm so sorry.
If he starts, I'm going to have to throw him outside.
I know, that's what I'm going to do here in just a second. So I'd open this up for public comment. Desiree, do you see anyone?
There was one more thing I wanted to add too.
Okay.
I don't remember if it was Kate or Matt in the last meeting asked about social equity. So in the future transportation needs chapter, I greatly expanded the discussion of public transportation. And I added in the extensive process that Bloomington Transit, Bloomington Transit IU, Campus Bus, and Rural Transit went through in the last 2 years in doing a route optimization study for Bloomington Transit greatly expands social equity because it involves the institution of microtransit at the beginning of this next calendar year. So the coverage in terms of social equity, I mean, I don't know what else you can do. If you've got door-to-door service, you've got accessibility service, and you've got fixed route fixed route service, which currently serves about 98% of the population in the service area. But and then I went through an evaluation also for rural transit, including in a lot of the discussion that came out of their study, and in terms of what their needs were too. So I'll stop there.
Thank you, Pat.
Well, for what it's worth, Pat, I appreciate all your interest and support for public transportation. And this whole COVID thing has thrown a monkey wrench into pretty much everything. So, we did that study, but now, pretty much everything's on hold until we figure out what's going to happen next.
Yeah, and if you read the financial forecasts, little policy bond I have back there in the back about the fact that revenues have dropped dramatically for not only public transportation, but also for jurisdictions such as Monroe County and the city of Bloomington and the town of Ellettsville, because of vehicle miles traveled are down. So therefore, fuel consumption is down. And with fuel consumption down, the revenue taxes that would normally go out to those jurisdictions are down. And I know through conversations with, there you go. I knew through conversations with LUME and with rural transit that their revenues are significantly down. And you have fixed costs operating. I mean, the CARES money, the Coronavirus Act money, which Congress distributed to the state of Indiana, the state of Indiana distributed to the utilities, that will take us through perhaps the beginning of 2022. And after that, no, it's anybody's game. I'll stop right there.
Thank you. And I think you're right. It's unknown waters, so nobody can predict the future on this. That's for sure. Any other comments from the?
I move approval, Madam Chair.
All right, I have a motion for approval. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. Ryan, would you want to take a roll call?
Do we, before we do that, don't we have to open it up for any public comments?
I did.
Oh, I'm sorry, Lisa.
Yeah, there's nothing on Facebook and nothing
Okay,
in the
thanks,
chats.
Desiree.
Thank you. All right, I'm ready to call the roll unless there's any other comments. All right, thank you.
Final comment, if that's all right. Sorry, I didn't know if we were coming back explicitly to, I think I missed my opportunity, but I'll, no, not to take too long. I just echo the other sentiments we heard. Thank you a lot to staff for all the many hours you all put into this. I think the survey responses in particular were, we had a lot of feedback from the public, which is great. And just wanted to, express how excited I am about the positive direction of some of the changes in this MTP from the previous one, in particular in the guiding principles, which, as Pat noted, are really the essential kind of piece for the policymaking bodies that are represented here, so that the wheels hit the road, as we move into project selection in the coming years, and really making sure that we're embodying these updated guiding principles to make sure we're moving in a more sustainable and equitable direction. So excited about that. Thank you again.
Thank you, Matt. Roll call, Ryan?
Okay, sure. Ryder Band.
Yes.
Wiltz.
Yes.
Wallman.
Yes.
Nickel.
Yes.
Githens.
Yes.
Warren.
Yes.
Flaherty.
Yes.
Bannock.
Yes.
Robinson.
Yes.
Kinsey,
Yes.
McDaniel,
Yes.
Ridge.
Yes.
All right, that is 12-0.
Great. Thank you, Pat and Ryan. I echoed them. I know we spend a lot of time, extra time, emailing back and forth and phone calls, and I appreciate your patience with me. It takes me a little bit to get back with you, but I commend you guys on all the work you guys and the time you took into this. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Lisa.
So does that take care of item 1? And we have to go to item 1.
Takes care.
Does that take care of A is 1 and 2, but that was a package deal?
We also have the resolution, the endorsement resolution.
Okay, if you want to go to the resolution for fiscal year 20, it says 2020 to -2001, I believe, 2021.
Didn't we just do the resolution?
That's what I was thinking. This was all one thing.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
what
that's
I
fine.
thought too.
That's
Okay.
fine.
Did you
That's
do
fine.
both?
No, that's fine.
So does that cover everything in your new business?
Yes, the only, Lisa, I'll have to get with you later on a signature for
Okay,
the,
sure.
for the resolution.
Okay,
Because Department of Transportation and Federal Highway don't necessarily believe me unless your signature's on it.
okay. That is not a problem. You know how to reach me.
Okay.
So moving on to communications from the committee members that are non-agenda items. Topics for future agendas. And
I'm eager, Madam Chair, to see crash reports. So it's mentioned in our new MTP and is important for safety. So I know that staff will finally have a little room to breathe and might be able to tackle funny numbers and the rest of our community and see where we have safety issues.
Well, you're in luck, Sarah. That is next.
And I can say on the county behalf, we have an intern working on the county one. Usually we have it out in June, but of course that was subsided a little bit. So it is actually underway right now of being updated for the county crash report, also for the 3-year report.
One thing I'd like to point out too is embedded within the MTP are the new crash targets. And I know Sarah doesn't like that word, but that's the federal legislation. The new crash targets for calendar year 2021 from the Department of Transportation, that was inserted in at the last minute because NDOT was to issue those in November. And the last thing I wanted to do was come back to the committee in November for an amendment of something we just passed this month. So those new numbers are in there and they're substantially lower than what the Department of Transportation had originally forecasted. And the reason they're down is because of vehicle miles traveled across the entire state are down. So and employment is down too. That's the other thing. Crashes are actually correlated with employment. The more people employed, the more people on the road. Now that we have a higher unemployment level, we've dropped in terms of what they see for crashes.
But I noticed that our federal highway folks were questioning our Vision Zero. And I'm glad that our MPO is aiming for Vision Zero as a guiding principle. I wish that our state and our federal government would look seriously at Vision Zero as their goal as well.
And we're the Bloomington, Monroe County is now the first MPO in Indiana to implicitly endorse Vision Zero in its MTP. So we're number one. Now the hard part comes in implementing the policy. Over the course of the next several months, we'll have to come up with a whole set of criteria on that and then watching how that works. So yes, thank you for noticing that.
Hey, Pat, are we number one or are we number 0?
Ha, ha.
We're the first, yeah, number 0 for number 1, number 1 for number 0. Yeah, for vision 0. Thank you. I'm not used to levity.
Thank you. So any other suggestions from the board? Seeing none. So our upcoming meetings, the next policy committee meeting is November 13th at 1:30, and it is to be virtual. The technical advisory committee and the citizens advisory committee will both be on October 28th. Technical advisory is at 10 a.m. and the citizens advisory is at 6:30 p.m. And if there's nothing else, I would accept a motion for adjournment.
Move to approve, move to adjourn.
Thanks, Sarah. Second?
Sure, second.
Okay. I don't think we need a roll vote for that part, I don't think, but
I don't think so.
all right. Thank you all.
Everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks.